Hi there, this is Donovan, aka Foto Dono. Some of you were asking me to go over some of the edits pertaining towards some of the Instagram posts, Facebook posts that I was doing that had some of the tags that I put down there about the settings. So let me show you what they were talking about here. So I'm going to pull something up. So this was it right here. And basically they were asking about this stuff right here. How I was able to create this. How to create all these types of setting. These type of shapes. These designs. Things like that. So I'm going to go over that as quickly as I can. As briefly as I can. About how I created some of those particular items. So, in essence, what you see right here is something in Photoshop. And that's how I created them, is in Photoshop, of course. It's called an artboard. Okay? So, what I usually do is I start with something new, and I create something that's called an artboard. Now, I make sure I select artboard, and I put it in pixels. I don't put it in inches. So, this is the latest version of Photoshop, Photoshop 2024. And at this particular point, it's cleared out most of my recent types of files. So all I got left right now is something I've done more recently, which is this 4000 by 4000. This could be any size you really want to be, but I find this works out really well for me because occasionally, if I make something that I really, really like, I'll print it out. If I really want to print it out, it makes to be something like a 13 by 13. I wouldn't print something 13 by 13. It'd be like a 10 by 10 or 8 by 8, but occasionally, but not too often, But, this makes me feel comfortable, so I'm happy with that. I don't change anything like the RGB color. 8-bit's fine. Again, this is Instagram, social media. I don't really care too much about that. They don't really need anything very fancy. I never touch any of the color profiles or the square pixels. It's more than adequate on its own. Then I click Create. Once I have an artboard, then I have a clean slate and I can just start throwing things on the artboard and make things like up that I want. So the artboard is pretty straightforward. I've got the artboard there. Now I have to find files. Now, what I generally do is I just go to, which I usually do, is I have on my, oops, close that out. Let's move this into the folder that I want. Right there, boom. So I'm going to go to Downloads, and I'm going to start looking for things that I want to throw in there. So we want to pertain towards photography, so let's go to photography. So let's see. All right, Photo Safari. Let's find something that's kind of cool. Let's see, how about that one right there? There we go. So let's pick this one. Let's throw that one in there. Boom. There's my first image, and I'm going to throw that one in there, and that's it. Well, that looks pretty. All right, so, but you see Instagram and Facebook, they have different aspect ratios that you want to work with. I prefer working on a square environment. It's kind of a holdover from Instagram. Even though Instagram does work in a 4x5, it only works in a 4x5 in a vertical. That would be basically if I wanted to do something like this. If I wanted to do 4x5, oops, not that, excuse me. So if I wanted to crop this right here, So if I wanted to do this as a 4x5, this would be a 4x5 vertical. Instagram works great with that. So does Facebook. But the issue is that it's cropping some of my image. I'm not a big fan of it. I want to shrink it down. But the problem is if I start shrinking this down, then I have some space I need to work with. I've been toying around with different aspect ratios. I still find that the square format works out to be the best. So I usually just leave that alone and I just work with the square. So square is going to be fine. You notice over here that as I'm working on this particular one, it's working as what they call a smart object. That's what this is. The smaller object means I can click on it and I can go in there and I can work on some edits. So if I wanted to basically highlight this and just remove my watermark on there, I can go there, go under edit, content aware fill, boom, she's gone. Oh no, we don't know who did it. Oops, there she's gone. And I can do that. Then I can save this and then go back to here and say, okay, save it. Okay, okay, okay. So now that I've got this in there, I'm good to go. Now what I usually do is I like to use the first image as a background. I have this image and here's a background, and I'll take the image again, make another copy of it, and then I'll take the background of it, enlarge it somewhat, make it a little bit bigger. I'll make it embiggen, and I'll make that one just a little bit smaller. But once that's done, I'll just place it accordingly in there. Give this a little bit of space over there so I can stick some icons over there. And then I'll move this one, be more artsy-fartsy about it. Move it over just a little bit more, like that. Maybe keep that little bit there. Try to find a little bit more thing like that. Maybe move this over here. Let's get more of that. Move that in. You know, like I said, I'm just trying to find a aesthetically pleasing look to it. You know, that's all I'm trying to do. And then after this, I'll do what's called a click on the blend mode normal opacity fill area. Once I click on that, I can then add a stroke to it or a drop shadow to it. If you notice it's starting to pop up down there, the stroke, it's not doing a really good one, so I'll just maybe choose white because it'll stand out a little bit more. But if you notice right there, it's only a 1 pixel from the previous one I've done. Make it a little bit bigger. And usually what I like to do is double up on the stroke layer. So I'll come over here. You know, I keep thinking of Billy Squire, stroke it, stroke, yeah, sorry. And I'll add another stroke to that. So you have to kind of make the next stroke line a little bit bigger. So you get another orange line. It says it's on the inside. I need to put it on the outside. Boom, there she is. Was the other one inside? It was inside. Put it on the outside. Boom, there she is. Oh, inside was fine for there. I'm looking right here to see where it's falling. And then I'll make another stroke on the outside. I'm going to actually make this one black so that stands out again. Black. There we go. Make this a little bigger. There we go. So that way it gives a nice little repeating pattern throughout the whole entire thing. Double check and see how well it's doing. So it's covering up the orange a bit. So again, double check to see what it's doing. See what's my orange doing. See, it's on the outside. So now it's black. Oh, it's strokes on the outside. It's on the outside. It's on the outside. Yeah, got everything kind of mixed up a little bit. So let's see. Make this one black. Outside 21. Inside 16. There we go. That's better. Depends where you lay it. I could have moved them other ways around too, but that's fine. Just give it a nice little break in there. Because when you look at it like this, it kind of breaks it all up right there. You could put green in there too, but I like the white, orange, and black. Kind of breaks it all up. The drop shadow gives a nice little breakdown there, so that's fine with me. And that'll be fine for that. I still think that's a little bit too solid there, so what I'll end up doing is I'll do what's called a filter effect on this one, or I might put a gradient, but I'll wait till I get the shapes in there. Now, what you want to do is you want to look at shapes. So you can go to Windows and you look for your shapes. Now, I've already created these shapes already. So I'm going to show you quickly how I made this particular shape. So hang on tight to your engines there, kids. I know you're excited. So we're going to go into something that's called, well, we're going to open up a file, and that's something it's called. We're going to go open. Now, I have my own logo that I made up years ago. So we're going to go to that. And I store it on here. And let's see, where's he at? There we go. We're going to go to this. It's not a very big logo. There it is. So, well, we're going to go to this one. kind of fill it up. You can see it's not the swiftest of logos. That's fine. So what you want to do is you need to select it. So you need to be able to select the logo at your... Now you can always, now keep in mind, I'm doing what's called quick selection and adding to it. That's this brush right here. Quick selection, add to this. Now I could do other ways around it too. That's fine. But then you can go to the paths, this guy, and see if it pops up. Make work path from this selection. That's what you want to do next. And now it's made a work path from this selection. Oops. Well, it's making this right here. I didn't care for that. I took that out last time. So let's back it up. Hit Command. I'm going to do an undo. Undo make path. That's this guy. Hit Command Z, or in this case Control Z if you're on Windows. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to take that off. So I'm going to do a remove. There we go. Remove that little section right there. There we go. And then go back to this. You go back to your paths over here. You got on this particular panel, it says layers, channels, and paths. If you don't have that, make sure you have paths selected right there. So that way you can put it there if you want to. It looks like here if I have shapes, I'm going to put shapes up here. If I don't have shapes there, I would put it right there. Boom, I've got shapes there now. Same thing right there. So I'm going to go back to paths. And then I said I'm going to make paths and work selection. There's my path. That's my work path. Great, I'm almost done there. Now what I want to do is I want to define custom shape. So it's there we go. I'm going to make this shape 13. No, I can call it Foto whatever Dono shape example blah de dee 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 blah. Right? I think you can't make too many characters, I think. So click OK. And then you go to shapes and look. Scroll down. Boom. There it is. Blah de dee 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 blah. It's in there. So then you can go over to here and then grab your shape and go blah de dee blah de dee blah de dee blah de dee blah. Instant shape. Isn't that cool? So I've got all these other shapes that I've created from different logos. Well, I'll rephrase. I did not make all these shapes. I have a talented pool of graphic artists and designers that I could pull from, so that they were gracious enough to give me some of this. I did make this one and this one. They were, and they also made these for me as well for some of the classes I teach. So these work out very well for me. But I made this one and I made those two. But basically that's basically how it works out. It's kind of fun to do. So you can make shapes out of almost anything if you want to do it that way. But once that's done, I put that there. Let's get rid of that one. I don't care about that one. See out there, take the shape away. There we go. Anyway, let's go back to layers. I'm going to get rid of that Foto Dono example. See, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Get rid of that for now. So what I would do then is at this point make this so I can see everything on here a little bit. So I can see where I'm layering everything. So I'll go back to shapes. So I'll grab my camera icon. This is my aperture. So I'll put that up there somewhere so I can see it. I don't care for that color as much. So I'll try to find something a little bit more pleasing to look at. White looks kind of good up against there for now. So I like that. Yay me. This one is the shutter speed because it's got the little clock in there. So there we go. There's a way for it to remember all the last color, but you figured I already know what it is. But nope. Don't remember. Moving on. And then we're going to go to this one. And then we're going to say OK. And then we're going to put fill there. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with that. And then I can put some text under there, which the text would be, of course, the settings, whatever this was for. I really don't remember what the settings were. But then I can put some settings there. And then the settings would be whatever this was. I just have to look it up from before. So let's just say the settings for this one was, which is probably true, f2.8. I could be wrong. It may not be. This would be, again, I would just basically take what I've got there before. Away. Thank you very much. And then since I'm lazy and I don't really want to make another text box, I would just make this go to here. And then I make another one. And just go to here. And then you can just like double click on it and say this was like 1/100th of a second. Probably not. And this one was say 100 ISO. Probably not. Stuff like that. So in that way I've got this basically is supposed to symbolize the ISO, the brightness of the scene. This is the shutter speed. That's the aperture right there. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works right there. So then after that, I would basically just apply various typical effects on top of that stuff. So for instance, on the aperture right here, I would go into here and I would say, look at this. Let's say, take a look at the stroke. Don't like the white's not too bad. Put a black. Ooh, don't like the black, but that's just because it's too thick. Bring that down a little bit right there. Maybe if I put a drop shadow on it, looks a little bit on. The distance looks a bit too much, right around there. What does a bevel look on that? That's not too bad looking. Enough to kind of make it pop a little bit. We'll say that's okay. Let's take a look at the color. Maybe I can use a different color on that. Let's try orange. Now let's try green out there. Let's take a look. Take a look at some of the colors in there and see how they look in there. Green's not too bad. Let's go back to white, gray, this, black. Ooh, I like black. Black look good. We'll try that. So we like all that. So we'll basically take what this is, copy this, and you go down to copy layer style, and then you can do paste all that, all to that, and then you can do fill to your most recent color. Boom. There you go. It's kind of cool. Same thing with the text. If you like what you saw or what you did with that, you go to paste layer style. Boom. Does it to all that. I'm going to leave it white because it makes it stand out a little bit better. And pretty much that's how you roll with that. Now, the other thing too, as I said, I like the background. The background's a little bit too much. Doesn't give you enough separation. So since what I'll do is what I typically will do is I might do a gradation between it. So I might do a gradual gradation layer between the two of them. Or I can do something else, but we'll try that and see what it looks like. See how that looks. You're like, oh my god, the gradient fill is not so good there. That's fine. We can always do something like that. See how that kind of looks and do like maybe an overlay, soft light. Ooh, that's not so bad. Hard light, soft light, hard light, vivid light. Color, ooh, no. And try something, maybe something in between. See how that kind of, I do kind of like the soft light, and then I would go back into the gradient tool and maybe bring this down a little bit more. See how that looks. Ooh, that gives it a nice little soft effect, making it weight down there. I like that. And for fun, I might even do the clock is going off. There we go. I know, wasn't that exciting? And then for fun, I like doing this right here. It's called oil paint. And oil paint basically stylizes the background a bit. So you can do some really interesting effects to the background there. It's only going to affect this one right here. So you can make it really really interesting. And you can scale it up a bit and see what it looks like. And it's only going to apply to that. And then I might actually do it a few times and just multiply the effect out. And it really then starts to create some interesting separations. And then if I really want to play with the filter again, because that's again why I like working and as a gradient fill and play it around, see what kind of look it's going to give me. Yeah. I still like lightening it up a bit right around there. Maybe move that down a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, like that. Like this, more like that. Feather it out. And that's pretty much about it. Then after that, I just, kind of tighten it up a bit. Go back to shapes. Stick my John Hancock on there if I want to. You can see right there, it's doing the old color again. I'm sure there's a way of sticking it on there, but I don't really know what it is. Oh, black, orange. It's black. Let's go to the tools again. See what it looks like again. Go up to, oops. Let's grab this. I like keeping this up near the top because it's easier for me to access if I can do that. So let's go to the aperture again. Make a copy of that. Doesn't matter which one it is, but I'm just going to that because it's closest. And just go to paste layer style. There we go. And I usually stick contour and texture to it. You can't see it on the black, so oop. Making it smaller. Making it bigger. See, it's got a little bit of texturing in there. So I might lighten that up a bit right there. You can see a little bit of textures coming through that there. I'll bring it back up. I might change the color a bit now. See, you can see a little bit of texturing there. Texturing there. Maybe it needs to be gray. Let's back it up and see how it looks with gray. See, that's not too bad. Again, I might play with it a little bit. Maybe make it a darker gray. Yeah. Here we go. Once you're all done with, if you like the way it looks and you're all set and done, then what you want to do is you want to go to here where it says export to files. This is important. Make sure you tell it where it's going to go if it doesn't know where to go. Since I didn't name it and save it, it doesn't know where to put it. So at this point, you should probably save it. So if you want to save it, click save. If you save it wherever, in this case, if I save it in this folder, let's just save it there. Let's just say flower photo. Social post. Click here. All right. Boom, done. Then if I click export to files, make sure this is selected as JPEG. It should, but it's going to basically, wherever it's saved, that's where it's going to put. You can rename it. Say you want to make this Instagram, and you can put a date on it or whatever. I usually put dates as I do a bunch of them. But once I do this, boom, it saves the whole damn thing. Throws it in there. Takes it a few moments. I know, hurry up and wait. You think I should edit this out? Probably not. Oh, maybe later. Remind me? Sure, why not? Because you never know. I don't know. I probably never will. So anyway, once that's all said and done, let's close this out. Don't save. Now, the thing that's nice about this, once you've done this once, you don't have to do it again. I could have taken that photo, gone to this, gone to here, and then say replace photo, contents, find a photo that I've already downloaded. Where am I at? I'm in the wrong thing. Downloads. Here it is. Go to downloads. Then I need to go find some photos. Let's go to Photo Walk. Ooh, Photo Walk. What did I do? Nope. Those are already posted. Never mind. Macro downtown. Did I post those? I don't know. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's click place. And boom. It's going to replace all those pictures. Because I made, I just basically copied all those things. It's going to take it a minute or two. But once it's done, see? And then you just have to go around and make your adjustments for where you want to place that photo at that particular point. But all those photos are there. It saved all that stuff. All those things are where they're at. Pretty cool, huh? So it's just mainly just you trying to figure out, oh, where am I going to put all my shit? Well, yeah, that's basically about it. You just got to figure out where you're going to put it. See? Bring her down. See? Boom. Just like that. And you see, I got a bunch of other ones that I turn on and off depending on the type of camera and stuff that I'm using or whatever I've been using. You say this one for whatever reason, it's because of the pixel size of the photo. The pixel size is much larger. I'm using these things as 4,000 by 4,000, so I didn't change the pixel size of the image. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. So let's cancel that. Meant to grab this one. There we go. That's the one I wanted to do. And of course you style it to the taste of whatever you're trying to do. Things like that. And of course you change the color scheme, however it's going to work out for you. Change the settings where the text is. And you just make it all work for however you want it to work out for. And that is pretty much how it is. Because once it's done once, you don't have to do it ever again. You just got to save the file. Of course, you can always make it again, like I just did here. It just takes a little while to get it set up. And you just basically keep replacing the image once over and over again. Keep in mind, once you replace it and you save it, you've overwritten whatever you've done before. So, there's that. If I save this now, it's overwritten what I've had before. So, there's that too. Okay? Anything else? If you guys got any other questions, just hit me up and I'll try to make a video as quick as I can and I'll throw it right out to you. Thanks again. Ciao for now. No, I don't like that catch line. Let me think of it. Keep making pretty pictures. I don't know. I'll think of something. Right.